Hey, it's Bridget with Sleepopolis, and today we are talking about anxiety and sleep. We're joined by our Director of Sleep Health, Dr. Shelby Harris. Dr. Harris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So first, let's go over just what is anxiety?
So anxiety is by nature a normal thing for us to experience. I think some people think that any anxiety is bad, and that's not true. So anxiety, I always say it's supposed to light a fire under you to actually act, to fight essentially, or to flight, right? So if we have a job interview, a test, if something good, even good stresses can cause anxiety, getting married, things like that, you should feel a little bit of anxiety, kind of prepare you for these things. However, anxiety becomes problematic when it makes us have extreme worries, lots of constant worries about things in the future or things that we don't have a good solid outcome for. It makes us worry about it. So when you find that worry, that concern, then is starting to impact your ability to focus and do the things you need to do in your daily life and your functioning, that's when it's a problem.
And speaking of things you need to do in your daily life, how can it affect sleep?
So anxiety, it's that thought process that's going on in our brain, but it's also affecting our bodies too. So a lot of times when we're anxious, we don't realize it, but we're tense. So we're tense, sometimes people are clenching their jaws, their muscles are tight, then their brain is pretty busy. So it's that active monkey brain that I'll always say, it's like kind of bouncing around a lot. So you can't quiet your brain to be able to fall asleep. Some people falling asleep is not actually the big problem. It's waking up in the middle of the night or waking up too early and their brain is swirling on fire thinking about all these things that might be productive things or things that are just they have no answer to.
What can people do who are suffering from this?
So there are a number of things that people with anxiety can start with doing. So one is sometimes people who have anxiety around sleep or they're just having trouble falling asleep because their brain is busy, sometimes they're getting in bed weirdly too early. So I actually would recommend to some people, go to bed about a half hour, maybe even an hour later when you're actually sleepy. Because if you get in bed just at a normal time, you might be getting in bed at a time when you're tired, but not sleepy, and your brain is still going to be able to be active. So go to bed a little later for some people. If that's not going to work, then we try and do meditation during the day. So I'm a huge fan of meditation. It's one of those things though that just doesn't work immediately, and it's not about meditating yourself to sleep at night. It's about practicing whether you're focusing on something for a minute or listening to a lot of great apps. There are amazing meditations out there to help focus you, but start with 1, 2, 3 minutes a day where you're practicing getting stronger at noticing your brain wander and then just redirecting it essentially. That's the point of meditation. Notice when you wander and redirect on whatever the task is that you're doing. So if you get better at doing that during the day, guess what? It gets easier at night to notice when your brain is in that busy pattern and let things go. Also things like making sure that you're winding down before bed properly, because if you go to bed not thinking about things during the day, the minute we lay down and it's quiet, boom, everything hits us. So really trying to decompress, think about things earlier in the day. To-do lists are wonderful. Another thing that I recommend a lot is for people to just get good at noticing when their worries are productive or unproductive. So labeling, is this something that's actually helping me come to an answer in my life, right? Like what anxiety is supposed to help with. But if it's unproductive worry, you have to learn to let it go. And that's where the meditation can be really useful as well.
And why is it important for people who are dealing with anxiety to get a good night's sleep?
Sleep is super important for our mental health. So it helps with our stress ability, or our stress tolerance, shall I say. And if we're more stressed because we're not sleeping, guess what? We feel more anxious and we can't do things like we need to during the day. And then also, when we're not sleeping well at night, we're not having enough of that REM sleep sometimes for some people. And REM sleep is when we have a lot of emotion processing, a lot of memory processing. And when you're not getting certain stages of sleep at night, it actually can make you feel more anxious because you're not having the same sort of emotion processing you would normally have. And something I would add as well is that if you have anxiety and you're getting treatment for anxiety, but you're still having trouble sleeping, definitely talk with a sleep specialist about the sleep issues, because there are really good treatments for sleep. So cognitive behavior therapy for insomnia is one example. Sometimes we use medication. There are a lot of different options out there, but you shouldn't necessarily always wait for the anxiety to get better in hopes that the sleep will get better. We tend to treat them separately, because if you work on the sleep and the anxiety separately and you start sleeping better, guess what? The anxiety tends to get better as well.
Well, thank you so much again, and also thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, just click the link in the description below, and also head over to sleepopolis.com for more sleep health information.